Yeah, good morning. And joining us again, former United States Attorney Mike McKay. We appreciate your legal expertise, but what I want now is your legal advice, your free legal advice, by the way, because I'm sure it's not cheap. Legal advice for the president at this point, and for the people who are advising him on this. You have a very public loss in the federal court in Seattle. You have an even more public loss in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, a unanimous decision by 3 judges. What would your legal advice be to the president on how to proceed?
Well, the first piece of legal advice is talk to your lawyers. I noted in the media coverage that when he issued his tweet yesterday saying, "See you in court," he had not yet spoken to his new Attorney General, Jeff Sessions. I think he should and should do so quickly. In order for the state of Washington to win here in Seattle last week and then yesterday down in San Francisco, it had to show that there was a substantial likelihood that Washington and Minnesota was going to win its case. Judge Robart here in Seattle ruled that way, and the Ninth Circuit did that yesterday. So if I were advising President Trump, I'd say take a step back. Let's review the order with admirable goals. The idea is to protect our citizens, but to try to do it in compliance with the Constitution, in particular the Due Process Clause, in which there appears to be a real serious vulnerability.
And a couple points of transparency. You are a lifelong Republican and not a Trump supporter, but you do know Jeff Sessions, our new Attorney General. You have met him before. This is a guy, he used to have the same job you had. He was a former United States Attorney, also a former Attorney General. You don't get to be where he has gotten, regardless of how you feel about Jeff Sessions, and be a dummy. I mean, he's obviously a smart guy. So for him, but he still he has some level of loyalty to the president, who just made him the Attorney General of the United States. What do you think, knowing him, Jeff Sessions does? Do you think he falls in line with the president on this?
That level of loyalty then would require him to do the best job he possibly can for the president, and that is give him the best legal advice he possibly can. Because right now the president hasn't been getting that. By making the statements that he's made about how easy it's going to be for him to win in court, by questioning the integrity and intelligence of the courts, these are all foolish and counterproductive statements. Indeed, a good lawyer like Sessions and his staff would tell the president that right now, the way the case is positioned, there is a high likelihood he's going to lose. And so they should take a step back, make the kinds of changes that will increase the likelihood of this executive order withstanding judicial scrutiny.
But what do you think would be a bigger loss for the president? And that's making the assumption that he would lose if they don't change their case. Would it be a bigger loss to just stop this now and say, you know what, the travel ban didn't work, we're just going to cut our losses? Or would it be a bigger loss to stand up for what he believes in, take it to the Supreme Court, and maybe lose in the Supreme Court?
He would likely lose in the Supreme Court if the court considers it. But and so that would be a hard hit. If he really wants to help and protect the citizens of this country, which he claims he does, and I'm sure he does, then the best way to do that is to make some changes with that executive order. Because right now he's not doing anything more to protect the citizens, because that executive order has been stayed. So he needs to make the changes, because otherwise he won't get anything accomplished.
All right, former United States Attorney for the Western District of Washington, Mike McKay, we appreciate your time. And you were here last night with us as this ruling was coming down. So your legal expertise on this has been invaluable. So we do appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Guys, back to you.